What is up, everybody? Dan the Fireman here, and we're going to be talking about common motorcycle hazards that you and I are going to run into almost all the time when we're riding. The thing that is different about this video is that this is a commenter video. I'm doing a live stream right now. The live stream is watching me make this video. We're going to edit this video, and this video is going to be coming out. It's pretty awesome. But the people in the live stream are the ones that came up with these comments and came up with these tips, and they're going to get the shout outs and everything. So if you want to get on one of these types of videos, if you want to see the live stream that's going on right now, behind the scenes stuff, you need to become a patron. Become a patron or a Discord member. That is the best way you're going to do it. But let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go ahead and talk about the first one. And the first one is potholes. Potholes, this came from WayWardRebelAce. Michael, he says potholes. Now, potholes, everyone should know that, right? Big potholes, it's obvious you're going to go into it and damage your bike. But the main thing is you got to watch out for the small ones. The small ones that will get the groove of your tire, or the small ones where you have just enough to where you go in and bend your rim. Those are the ones that you really have to watch out for, because the small ones you're not going to be able to see until it actually happens. So keep an eye on your lane position, 1, 2, and 3. Make sure you see where the potholes are going. If you have a bad road in your area, if it's always raining or snowing, I'm sure you're used to having potholes, but the small ones are going to get you. All right? So thanks for the tip, Wayward. We're going to go to the next one. All right, so we have another one. It's sand, gravel, and I added this little part in there, the lawn clippings. But Rick Clark from the live stream came up with this tip. Now, the thing is, sand and gravel, it's pretty obvious, right? You want to miss the sand and gravel, and you want to miss lawn clippings. If you've never ridden across lawn clippings, super slick, super slick. But same thing with sand and gravel. Now, the thing is, when you're riding and you're making a turn on sand, gravel, or lawn clippings, or any type of small little road debris in the road, it will remove traction from your tire from the road. So when you're doing that and you're turning, if you lose traction from your tire to the road because of gravel and stuff, guess what? You're going to low slide. You're going to crash. You're going to drop the bike. And if you do it at a high rate of speed, you're going to be sliding for long ways. My buddy actually crashed his bike on gravel on a right-hand turn into his neighborhood because it just recently rained. He did some damage to his exhaust. He did some damage to his foot. It happens. And it also happened to me a little while ago. I almost crashed, and the road was actually like a gravel road, but the gravel was the same color on the side of the road. I thought it was, still road. I thought it was still pavement, and I almost ate shit. I was going slow. I was literally parking, but still, you got to be careful with gravel. You got to be careful where the road and the dirt meet. All right, the next comment is coming from Ray the Polak. Roadkill. Once again, a lot of these are common, a lot of these are obvious stuff, but you kind of need to know what it does to you, because roadkill, depending on the size of the roadkill, is very dangerous. If it's like the size of a deer or a coyote or a javelina, going over something like that is insane. Think of a javelina body. If you don't know what a javelina is, it's basically a giant rat with fangs. It attacked my dog last December. I hate that thing. Anyways, a javelina is basically the size of a dog, and if it's dead on the ground, you're basically hitting a speed bump at speed. So if you hit that thing, you're going to go flying. You're going to get launched over the top of your handlebars. So you really have to watch out for that kind of stuff. Also, if you think that maybe I can get away with going over or through roadkill, it's dead, I just see some bones. Guys, you have to realize bones are sharp. Bones are sharp. You can puncture a tire. You can puncture a fuel line. You can puncture some wiring underneath your bike, anything like that. So it's best to just avoid it. It's best to just go around. But one thing that I wanted to say is that, if you can't avoid it, prepare yourself. Especially if it's just like a small squirrel, you'll be fine. But if it's something bigger like a coyote or a javelina or, a deer or a moose, whatever, try your best to avoid that incident. So we got Chris Smith over here with, I'm calling it Road Live Not Killed Yet. So basically animals wanting to come across the road. And I see it all the time here. I see it with coyotes here. I see it with bobcats here. I see it with javelina. I see it with other dogs. I see it with gophers and stuff. Animals running across the runway and the roadway is last second is very dangerous, especially since you can't see it. If you are in a position in your lane to where they run out, boom, you hit because you couldn't see because of the brush and everything, you might need to move over to the different lane position. So if position 3, which is closest to the side of the road, and they jump out and you hit them, I think you probably would have like an extra second or two to see that if you stay in position 1, if there's some blind, bushes on the side, blind turns, blind, for animals to come through. Really prepare yourself for that. But you really do need to watch for animals on the side of the road. WayWardRebelAce mentioned that in the live stream, is that you do need to watch for the animals on the side of the road. So if you see a sign that says, you know, next 20 miles, deer or something, keep an eye out. Just keep an eye out. Keep scanning the ends and the sides of the road. See if there's like a bush coming up. Be prepared to do emergency evasive maneuvers, because sometimes braking doesn't work. Don't try to honk thinking that you're going to ride and honk and the animal will get out of the way. It's not going to happen. You really do need to get prepared for evasive maneuvers for that part. So the next tip that we got was from Ray the Polak. It's going to be construction zones. Now this one is, to me, has caused a lot of issues with my car. Construction zones, I get nails and shit into my tires all the time. Nails, screws, random freaking tools into my tires from construction zones all the time. You definitely need to watch for debris in the construction zone. So you got, you know, rocks when they're digging up the road, you got nails, you got pieces of wood, you got a bunch of stuff like that. You also need to watch out because the lane is restricted a little bit closer sometimes because of the cones and everything. So be prepared if you're used to riding on the line, that you don't want to ride too close because you could clip your, you know, your hand on the cones and stuff. So be a little prepared on that. Try to ride where the other people's tires are, so hopefully they picked up all the nails and stuff. Also, you need to watch for uneven pavement on the bike. RoadWrangler came up with this tip, is that the uneven pavement, so like if it's a little bit down on one side and you're about to go, you know, towards that, it could cause you to go down into there, and the groove will make you, you know, go where you don't want to go. So kind of be careful on that. So OG Night Rider with a stash, badass stash, was mentioning fluids. Fluids on the road, once again, it's common, but a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people don't realize that you should not stop where in lane position 2, in that lane, so 1, 2, and 3, in that position 2 at a stoplight or a stop sign. That's where cars stop, and right in that lane position 2, you get oil. You get, you know, a bunch of fluids from the car just dripping down onto that spot. If you ever noticed, you know, like in car parking spots, in cars, in the parking lot, you see that oil section. Don't park your bike in the oil section. Also, don't park your bike in that oil section at a stoplight or a stop sign, because you could slip. You put your foot down, slip out. So be careful of fluids and stuff on the road, and especially in construction zones, but especially like anywhere else where you start seeing like the different coloration of the lane. You'll see where there's tire mark. You can definitely tell there's tire mark, and then you see like this nasty like black in the middle, and then you see tire mark. So that nasty black and stuff, that is fluid just constantly dripping and dropping from cars. And when that gets wet during the rain, when that gets wet, you know, if it's fresh, you can slip, especially on a turn. So Ray came with another suggestion, and other vehicles. Once again, it's common, but guess what? What causes most accidents for motorcyclists? Other vehicles. Jeremy K was specifically saying cars turning in front of you on a left-hand turn, like in an intersection. Yeah, dangerous, very dangerous. That's how my buddy got in an accident. A car was turning left in front of him. He was going through the intersection. He had the right of way. The car decided to turn left in front of him. He T-boned it. He has pelvic injuries, the whole open book fracture in the front pelvis. Massive stuff that happened to him. You really got to be careful with that. Now, lane positioning is key. He was talking about how a tip to kind of prevent, you know, a car turning left in front of you and you hitting them. So lane positioning is key. So always have another car to the left of you. So one thing is that if it's a double turn lane, you could always have another car kind of blocking while you're trailing them. But definitely keep an eye out for intersections. Be prepared for evasive maneuvers. Try not to lock up your brakes. Emergency braking is a great thing to practice. I just recently practiced it a little while ago, and I need to constantly keep practicing it. But emergency braking, evasive maneuvers is huge. You really need to focus on that just so you can avoid those things. Intersections are extremely deadly for motorcyclists, extremely deadly. That is where most of the accidents happen, where most of the fatalities happen for motorcyclists are in intersections. Chris Smith had a comment about other vehicles that sometimes that you just have dangerous drivers. Sometimes you have assholes that will cut you off. Sometimes you'll have somebody just do a U-turn in front of you. Sometimes you'll just have people distracted on their phones, creeping into your lane. So you really have to keep an eye out for cars. You really have to keep an eye out for other vehicles. And one thing I like to do when I'm riding next to a car or behind a car is I look at their tires. If their tires are starting to go towards the lines or they go over the lines, that right there lets me know that they're not paying attention. Now, if you stare at the actual vehicle, like the top of the vehicle or the body of the vehicle, you can't really tell their movement too much until it's too late. So I look at the tires, and the lines in the tires are a great way to see where the vehicle is going. RoadWrangler mentioned unsecured loads. Now this is actually very dangerous. There's a lot of funny videos online of unsecured loads causing motorcyclists to crash. I think there was one about a mattress falling down off a load, off a truck, and he hits it, falls, lands on the mattress. He's safe. It's funny because he landed on a mattress. That can happen, but there's also other stuff that can happen. Let's say a chair falls off the back of a truck. You know, somebody's moving and the chair falls out. You're not going to land on that softly. So you really have to keep an eye out for unsecured loads. Best bet is to not be right behind them and then go around them. Get in front of them. Obviously, if they drop something, it's going to go behind you. It's not going to hit you. So definitely go in front of them. Keep an eye out for tie straps. See if there's a tie strap flapping in the wind. If that's the case, that's a bad idea. That's a bad thing. Go around them. Hopefully that strap is not going to hit you when you're trying to get around them. But, you know, give yourself some space. If you can't get around them, that way you have enough room for emergency brakes or evasive maneuvers. All right, we got a tip from Kelly F. This is a patron over here, patron and moderator over here on the Discord, is watch out for tar snakes. I talked about tar snakes a little while ago, and then MC Ryder came out with a great video on tar snakes, but watch out for tar snakes and paint. Tar snakes and paint don't have the mechanical grip that the asphalt has. You're going to have a more smooth surface with this paint. You're going to have a more smooth surface with the tar snakes. So you're going to lose a lot of grip. So you're going from a lot of grip on the asphalt to less grip, and it might cause your tire to spin. You might cause some traction problems for your tires. So you could do a low slide. You could do a high slide. You could just fall down and crash with some of these things. So really pay attention to where they are and try to avoid them the best you can. But if you are going to go through them, do it nice and easy. Don't make sudden turn movements. Do not do sudden acceleration on tar snakes or paint or oil slicks for that matter. But especially when they're wet. When they're wet, I mean, you just add that extra. You know, you just add that extra. They don't have that mechanical grip like the asphalt has and your tires have. And when they're wet, it's just super slick. It's like when I was firefighting, you don't get on top of a tile roof if it's wet. You're just going to slip and slide off. And it's very dangerous when you're that high. So it's just something that you kind of want to be aware of. And I just want to say thank you to all my patrons and Discord members, because that's the only way you are going to get on this live stream, and that's the only way we made these comments and these videos. So thank you to everybody. I'm going to put a list of everybody that made comments, but thank you so much for helping out, making this wonderful video. It was a lot of fun. And if you want to be a part of it, make sure you join the Discord, and make sure you join the Patreon. Just $1 a month. $1 a month. Be a crew member. All right? All right, guys. I'll be seeing you later. Hope you guys ride safe, be safe, and you'll never ride alone.